I don't know how long I streamed, but it seems like I always freeze after a while. And maybe it's like my computer slowing down. I don't know. But it's proven to be inevitable whenever I stream. So just be prepared for me to freeze. Am I on? Is there anybody out there? Just not if you can hear me. Is there anyone home? Hi, I would say your name, but I can't read Arabic, so I don't know how to say it. But the Arabic letters look really pretty. There is no pain, you are receding. The distant ships on the horizon. You are only coming through in waves. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you say. There's no one in my chat room. Uh-oh, maybe that means I'm frozen again. Am I frozen, person? Am I? Nobody's saying anything. Hi, Courtney. Am I glitching again? Because it's doing that thing where it chops down, like in horizontal chops on my screen, and it looks like I might just need to restart my computer. Oh, I'm good. Good. Are you sure I'm good? Because I really, like, I wish I could show y'all what it's doing. What it does is it, like, divides my face up in these lines, and then it, like, goes side to side. Like, it's crazy. Like, I look like I'm waving. Like my body is, like, doing the wave. You can see perfect? Okay, if you say so. If you say so. It's clear for, no. Oh, well. Just let me know when it freezes, okay? Like you always do. Thank you. I wish I could co-host with somebody that knows Katelyn. So we can just talk about how awesome she is. Like, I could seriously talk about how awesome Katelyn is every day for the rest of my life. Or about the wrong that she went through, or pretty much anything that deals with her. Hi, Grove Razor. Grove Razor. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. I swear I am so glitching on this. Wish that I miss Katelyn person. I know. I should ask them, but I'll ask them. I will see what they say. I am so glitchy. It's crazy on my end. Maybe you should schedule a Talk Katelyn guest chat. I totally will. Oh God. The word schedule just freaks me out because like I just picture myself immediately letting everybody down. But it's worth a try. That would be super cool to see all who. Oh, I'm gonna forward you the email I was sent, by the way. I finally found it. It was sent to my Yoshi email, and then you'll be able to see this. It was so enlightening about the Prozac and patterns that were picked up on Katelyn's live streams after she took it that I totally missed, and it's just super eye-opening. Hi, Jordan. Are you Jordan, like video game Jordan, or what Jordan are you? Plan? Okay. Oh God, the word plan freaks me out too. Ah! But we can. I will try. I will try. It's worth. If it's for Katelyn, it's really worth trying at least. So. Oh, you're not? Oh, okay. I thought that you were. I still can't see how I'm not glitching on your end, because it's awful from what I can see. Hi, Jordan. Thanks for the likes. Again, I'm not sure. Does that just put me like, does that make my ranking higher? Oh, thanks for being my fan. This is the first time I have worn a low-cut shirt on here, and honestly, it makes me feel a little exposed. I don't like getting that close to the camera. It freaks me out. I received a message about black growth mold mildew that could have contributed. Really? Like, when you say contributed to her health issues, are you talking about depression? Because, wow, holy wow. Like, are you saying it could have caused some neurotic side effects, or? Hi. About mental health and passing. Oh my goodness. Well, then how come nobody else in the home was experiencing that then? Like, I'm not saying that that didn't contribute, but, well, I guess actually Tammy does seem to have been going through a lot, like, emotionally before that, so who knows. Thanks for becoming a fan. Her room was flooded. She would have had the strongest exposure. Okay. That's right. Where she was sleeping too, so where she was spending the most amount of time. So, when you said you received a message about it, was it from somebody, was it from a professional who can actually take action and do something, or like, or was it somebody who works or is there a profession like in the mold industry, and they like where do they stand? Like, hi, Nidal Bearcat. I don't know how to say your name. It was from a personal in the social service field. Okay. I think it needs, oh yeah, I think everything needs to be investigated that deals with Katelyn. Where she lived, sorry, my door keeps squeaking. Where she lived, every family member who was around her at the time, blood or not, every teacher. I swear. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it definitely needs to be investigated. She was very sick. Was she sick physically? I didn't know that. Like, I never heard of her talking about physical sickness. Like, I remember one time her saying that she had a headache, which could very well be a side effect of the Prozac. But, she was passing out. Was that from, like, what did she say it was from? I mean, I know she was only 12, but what did she think it was from? Did she say what she thinks it's from? Because we don't really know for sure. Oh my gosh, what's new with Katelyn's story? Thank you. I never wear this top. I literally only put it on to live stream. I don't wear like stuff like this in public ever. What's new? There's nothing really new. Well, Courtney just said that somebody said, I'm going to just read, you can go up and see maybe, but she said that she received a message about how the mold and mildew could have contributed to her health issues with the leak in her room, you know? And I didn't know that it could I knew for sure it could cause physical problems. I didn't know it could manifest mentally, you know, cause neurological problems too. Thanks for the 10 thumbs up, thumbs ups, thumb ups. No one could figure it out. No one could figure it out? So did she actually go, do you know if she went to a medical doctor for that, or did she only go to a mental health doctor for her passing out? I mean, it could have been from low blood sugar because, like, according to her, she didn't really eat that much in the day. Like, we saw her eating a hot dog, and she said that's all she had all day. That's barely enough protein, and you're supposed to have protein with sugar at the same time to keep your blood sugar stable. And then she, in other streams, didn't eat at all that whole day. So, like, including doctors, when she reached her arms out, she would drop. When she reached her arms out, there's actually there's a name for it, and I'm in this mitral valve prolapse group, and if you like stand up or you do a certain movement with your body, your blood pressure drops really low and you faint, and it's really common in people her age and the elderly. Like, I don't know, I'm guessing, but mold, I mean, if you put any living organism around mold, especially if it's like sleeping for a minimum of 7 hours a night near, like literally on it, there's no doubt that it's going to cause neurological problems. I never thought about that because when she spoke of the leak, I assumed it was fairly recent, like knew that it started happening. Just because, like, I don't know, the way that she talked about it, it sounded to me like it wasn't something that she was like, oh, and look at, like, I forgot. I don't know what made me think of it that way, but that's how I interpreted it. Hi, Stephen. Greetings from Canada. I am not far from you. Hi. I used to have the same thing when I was her age where I would feel like passing out after stretching. Yeah, a lot of times it's because kids are malnourished because they don't really know how to eat correctly and they have low blood sugar, or they just overexhaust themselves, or they're dehydrated, or like Courtney said, it could be from home contaminants or something. Hi, I'm Miss Katelyn. It is so good to have you in here again. Courtney and I were discussing you possibly guesting, and if you don't want to, that is perfectly fine. I know getting on camera is not for everybody. I only want to, like, once a month, if you couldn't tell. So, like, I completely understand if you don't want to. And you don't even have to show your face. Like, you could actually have the camera at the wall, you know, just if it's easier to communicate talking, you know, just audibly, that's fine too. That's actually how Katelyn's aunt was going to talk with me, was just vocally, like when she was going to do the interview. I don't like calling it an actual interview. Hi, thanks for becoming a fan, Dwight. Yes, I've heard household molds can cause a slew of issues. That might be plausible, Courtney. Yeah. Courtney is always bringing up interesting, that's why you see the heater in her room in the videos. The heater was drying the carpet. Well, then wouldn't a heater of all things, a heater to dry the carpet? Wouldn't she need like a dehumidifier and a fan and like stuff like antiseptic cleaning stuff? And like, I mean, how's a heater gonna, that's actually just gonna make the molecules spread more and make them, you know, perpetuate. Because when cold is actually what makes the molecules get tighter and stick to one area. Like, I don't understand how the heat is going to benefit in that situation. I don't understand that. A heater causes mold and mildew to grow. Exactly. Like, so I don't understand. I don't know why that's how that would be their, I don't get that. That makes no sense. That's really scary. Again, why does the state of Georgia, when they send people over, like the CPS people, why would they have walked into her room? And, you know, some people might say, well, maybe they didn't see it like that. Maybe they didn't see it. Well, okay, if it's covered up in blankets, they would look up the, you know, why didn't they look at this? That they should be, whoever was, I don't understand that. Because the carpet needed to dry? Yeah, but why not with a fan and a dehumidifier? Like, why a heater? I don't get that. I mean, it's not like she lives in Alaska. Like, she was in Georgia. It's Mendel. Hi, Mendel. Nice to meet you. She probably didn't know it would cause that. Well, I know Katelyn wouldn't. I'm not at all like alluding to that Katelyn should have known, but the adults in the house or whomever inspected, assuming someone did, that situation, like why would that be their fix? Because you are tapping into the education of water damage. But I mean, it doesn't really take education. It's common sense. Like, if there's mold and mildew, I mean, a heater, like, and it's not common sense again for a 12-year-old. I'm not at all expecting Katelyn to have known. I would not have known at 12. I wouldn't have known it probably at 14. But like, her mother or whoever else, like Anthony was there a lot. How is that supposed to help? How's the heater gonna help? And the heater probably just exacerbated the mold. Like, as you said, Courtney, it makes it grow. So like that actually was causing more harm. I don't get it. Hi, 52TVBD. Welcome. I agree that it's terrible that no one intervened. You'd be surprised what DHS and CPS overlooks and doesn't act on. Yeah, and you would also be surprised on the things that CPS can create out of thin air. Like, they can create things out of thin air with some families and just be going on assumption fests. But then with other families, they, like you said, I mean, they can have red flags all in their face. In her case, it wasn't just a red flag. I mean, we live in a country where if a pet is kept in a big room all day with food and a litter box, then the owner will get in trouble, and the people will bash the owner for that if they leave their cat in a room for one day. But then CPS can go into a trailer that has a room with a leak and mold and mildew and a can of soup in the house, and nothing happens. I don't. Welcome to America, I guess. Hi. Aw. I think inspectors and caseworkers do a walkthrough. Yeah, they do a walkthrough. But what is the good of the walkthrough if they walk through without looking? Like, I mean, my husband was abused and starved by his stepmother as a child and has told me such horror stories. I have cried for him. I'm really sorry. Does he know about Katelyn? Like, I'm sure if he does, then her story probably really hits close to home for him. It's terrible. Yep, only in America. Yeah. Like, if animals could take their, like, if other animals, like, I know we're animals, but if like lesser consciously evolved mammals, like a dog, let's say a puppy, was being treated the way Katelyn was and took its life, I think there would be more public outrage in America, not in the rest of the world. But that's just, and I know a lot of us have come forward and cried about Katelyn, and we will never forget her, but I don't feel like the public has reacted the way that they would if a puppy were, if there were recordings of a puppy being treated the way Katelyn was treated. Sadly, I don't think so. There is no criteria for caseworkers. They just check it off their list. Well, since it's dealing with the well-being of voiceless, helpless, and I say voiceless because a lot of times they don't know how to use their voice, because they're not even really aware of the abuse that they're undergoing. In the case of helpless children, I think that they should have criteria. You are Bangladesh? Oh, okay. That's nice. I'm still shocked that she isn't a household name. I know. Well, let's not speak too soon. Maybe she will be. Maybe with the right journalist and the right, because America again, and it happened in America, so that's why I'm talking about in our country where Katelyn lived. She was an American. In America, sometimes it takes cinemagic showcasing for people to care. Like, there are so many Holocaust movies, and I don't think that if Hollywood took hold of the Holocaust and really owned it and presented it in cinemagic form or in books, which is another form of entertainment, I don't think it would have had the same impact. And so I think Katelyn needs to be presented as the star that she was. And, I just would hope that whoever would write about her or act her in a movie or anything like that, or if the journalist covered her story more widespread, like for the widespread audience on a main news thing or something, I just hope that the person, the actor or the writer or the journalist would be dignified enough to make sure that they did it accurately. I need a girlfriend. I love him much. I need a girlfriend. I love him much. I am very confused by that. Katelyn's name will still be spoken. It's not going away. I agree. I understand what he means though. Like Kaylee Anthony, for instance, like I was so glad that so many people like knew about her and had her on t-shirts everywhere, and like it's not the same with Katelyn. Like, I mean, it may feel that way when we're in our groups online and stuff, but when you step out into the world, I talked to my caseworker. I talked to her about Katelyn last week, and she didn't know who I was talking about. I went to a suicide group at our public library, a week ago. It was called 13 Reasons Why You Matter. And it was one of those little events that pop up on Facebook, and I didn't know anything about it. It didn't really say anything about it except mental health, to talk about suicide. And the kids had to be 4th grade or up. So I took my son and we went, and it was very nice. But I brought up Katelyn, and I talked a whole lot about her, and nobody there, including the 2 lead therapists of the group, knew who she was. I mean, in a suicide awareness group, no one knew who Katelyn was. Like, and then when people say like, oh yeah, it happens, it's like that really bothers me, just because I think I have such a love for this girl. So it's like when people just clump her in with just anyone. It's like, and I think too, it's because she was missing the love that she needed in her life. And it's like, you know, because a lot of kids who commit suicide, they had all the love that they needed, but they just didn't have any self-love. For Katelyn, it was different. She had some self-love, but that wasn't enough. She needed love from outside sources. And, you know, the video of her in her car or in someone's car where she's playing on the radio that song by Kelly Clarkson, when she's like, I don't remember how it goes, but basically it's her singing about, oh yeah, he loves me or whatever, and then she turns it off and she's like, no, he doesn't, and she's talking about her dad. So that shows you how much it was all consuming her, the fact that her dad wasn't in her life. She heard pieces of him just in a pop song like that, you know, that made her think of her dad. That shows her train of thought. I'm glad that show came out. 13 Reasons brought awareness. I didn't see it, but, you know, anything that brings awareness to suicide and depression, I have no reason not to like it or not to be for it. I just heard some people were saying that when they saw it, they felt like it was actually glamorizing suicide. And if that's the case, I need to watch it because I want to be able to talk about it. I don't want to say good things about it if it could have promoted kids if it promotes the glamorization of suicide. Did the police ever say why Luke got away with it when there was overwhelming amount? You know what? I contacted Cedartown and Polk County, or Cedartown's the city, but I contacted both of the police people. I never actually got to speak to Katelyn's Katelyn's actual investigator, the one who passed away recently, the one who got shot. I never got to talk to her, but I spoke to some lead sheriff there, and he was very adamant about the fact that the people's names I brought up, they were gonna make sure something happened. Like, I think he could tell by my tone I was not okay with how he was at first giving me these little, like, half-butt answers, but just as predicted, nope, nothing has happened. Like, okay, so Anthony has ball cancer now, apparently, is what people are saying. Normally, no matter how horrible someone has been, I will feel bad for them in a case like that, but he told Katelyn to hang herself. He told her he'd buy the rope. He told her she was worthless, and he molested her countless times. So, Tony, if you're watching this and it angers you that I say that, you're basically calling Katelyn a liar, because Katelyn is the one who said all that. So, anyway, you know, that's the most justice that has happened right now, is something that wasn't even in the hands of humanity, okay, is that he now is dealing with his own physical ailment in his sexual organ part of his body. So I have no sorrow for someone who did all the things to Katelyn that he did. Not an ounce. I'm sorry for his family members who love him. I'm sorry that he has the mental wiring that he has that leads him to act the way that he does. But I'm not sorry for the fact that right now he's going through something that could kill him when he wrote the mental script that played a part in the very last moments of her life. 13 also caused a huge influx of children's psych patients. It should be watched with parents. Yeah, he has testicular cancer, is what Debbie, the grandmother, that's what she said. And by the way, Doug, it means a lot to me that you're educating yourself on this case of Katelyn, because I know that at first you weren't as aware of it, and it means a lot to me that you're learning more, that you want to learn more about her. Look, you can see the psoriasis on my elbow. See that? That's why I don't wear short sleeves in public. That right there. Yeah, Debbie told me that. Debbie told me that in the last conversation that we had. So that would have been like, I don't know. You probably remember better than I do. The last time I told you that I spoke to her. What? I think that was a total lie. He's not saying that any longer. Well, Debbie said that just. Maybe he's embarrassed, so he doesn't want people. I don't know, but that is what Debbie told me like last week. What is your opinion? And you know, Debbie could be making it up. I don't know. I've seen lying patterns among the entire family. For the record, I'm going to put this out there. Matthew Reed Davis, it was confirmed, and this is Katelyn's biological dad. He was honorably discharged. That's been proven. Anybody who says otherwise is just either spreading a rumor or just deliberately lying. So Matthew Reed Davis was honorably discharged, okay? So I don't know why people keep acting like wanting to perpetuate this lie about him. What am I drinking? I'm drinking Dunkin' Donuts coffee. See that? She's talking him. He was interviewed and contradicted that. Well, then either Debbie's misinformed or she's spreading something that he doesn't want spread. So, and frankly, I really don't care. Again, people I've noticed who love Katelyn, we kind of have our people we point the finger at the most, and for me, it is the psychiatrist who gave her Prozac, and it is Anthony. Those are the two people. I feel like I flat out feel like he just doesn't care about anything. I mean, if you go on Facebook and you see what he was saying on Katelyn's account after she was found hanging in the yard he lived in at one point, right before it, he's talking like I've seen people show more sorrow after a pet has died. Like, so I have no remorse for that man. I can't even call him a man. So that's where I hold my resentment. I feel like I know for a fact that Matt and Tammy, I feel like they definitely would have stopped it from happening if they knew for a fact it was going to happen. Luke, I don't know what to think of that person. I think he's just an idiot pervert. I don't know enough about him to know, like, I don't know if he actually was watching her in her last moments. I don't know. AB Tariq or whatever, the person who was in the chat, that's a straight up sociopath. No doubt about that. I drink coffee with a straw because I've never had a cavity and I never want a cavity. Who's Debbie? Debbie is the grandmother of Katelyn Nicole Davis. She's the biological grandmother. Does she work for Thanks Obama? Doubtful. That's random. When Katelyn was hospitalized for 4 weeks, it seems there should have been a treatment plan and monitoring. Well, I was voicing my concerns to Debbie also about that last week. I was like, why wasn't anything done? Like, and I was asking her in detail what was hi Chrissy Catherine, like what steps were taken, and she's like, I don't know, I can't tell you. So I'm sure there was a treatment plan that the hospital proposed, but from personal experience, like dealing with my son, I mean, my son's never had a suicide attempt, but the things that he has said that scared me in the last couple years, I would take him to an emergency mental health. Well, I would take him to the ER, then there would be a psychiatrist who would do an evaluation there at the ER. And based on their eval, they would then come up with a plan. And but the bad part is that once the plan is proposed, it is up to the caregiver of the child, of the minor, to follow through with the plan. You know, because they are not CPS. So that's all they can do is they can just hope that the parent, and that's where I feel like our country really fails, because many people who have kids, they're still kids in their mind, like in terms of empathy and stuff, they're kind of selfish, and so they don't really take seriously things that their kids are doing that could lead to suicide. Can you help me, please? Hi, Peaceful Night. Tell me, I mean, in what way do you need help? Luke was also talking about having a new girl on the day of Katie's funeral on a live stream. Debbie told me that he broke up with her the day that she took her life. And, you know, it does feel like the world is closing in on you when you're pubescent or prepubescent and you're the receiving end of a breakup, especially when you have nobody. I can't, like, to me, I don't think Luke did it in an insidious way. I don't know him. But compared to the other characters in her life at that time, he was not one in her life who was supposed to be taking care of her. He wasn't the one in her life who, again, he was just a pervert. He was just a pervert online. He might have really cared for her, who knows, but they had an online relationship, and, you know, he wasn't in a position to take care of her or to save her. Well, actually, I say that, but I feel like as humans, I feel like we always have a role to save people. If we are in the presence of somebody who needs saving, I feel like to be a true human being is to help save that person. A month in a hospital is pretty serious. Yeah, I agree. After her pill overdose, the hospital should have been monitoring. Yeah, I don't understand that. Again, this must be exclusive to like us, like how each state operates. This is why I don't like this whole, and I'm sorry if you're libertarian, but this is where I disagree, because if you leave it up to the state, if the state has a horrific mental health approach, that could lead to death in children. That could lead to suicide in children, because in my state, in Minnesota, if a child attempts to kill themselves, if a minor does, they're not just going to go right back to that environment where they killed themselves with no change of the environment. Like, I think my children would say how faulty and dumb that is. Like, and their kids. But I think it's exclusive to Georgia. Thank you, Peaceful Night. That's really nice. How did Debbie know about Luke's conversations? I don't know. And I said, how do you know? And she said, that's just what I heard. So I'll talk to you more about that. Thanks, White Snake, for the 10 thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumb ups. Hi, Shad Healy. You should tell the people watching on YouTube right now you cannot see their comments and they need to come over here to comment. I wish I could do live stream on YouTube. I'm going to get off this and I'm going to try to live stream on YouTube because that's who I talk to the most. All right, so I downloaded it's called OBS, OBS Studio. I downloaded that specifically so that I could talk to you guys on YouTube. So I'm going to try to utilize that now. It may take a minute. So the only reason it took a while a second ago to come back here was because I made myself some more coffee and used the bathroom. So, but yeah. So my psoriasis made its debut for y'all today. Ugh. All right, I'm gonna try to get on the YouTube live stream. Let's cross our fingers that it works, because then, but can you co-host on YouTube? Because I want to find a way to co-host with my fellow Katelyn people. Like, that's really what I want to do. You can co-host on YouTube? I didn't know you could. All right, so I guess I will delve more into that once people can guest on YouTube. Okay. Cool beans. Well, I'm going to try to do that then. So you know where to find me, like, in the next 10 minutes. I think you can do it through Google Chat somehow. Yeah, it's through the Google Hangouts, but the only bad thing about that is you can't do, like, a super chat, or, no, not super chat. There was a reason that I did OBS. What was the reason? Oh, yeah, duh, because you have to have a streaming key. Like, there's a streaming key, and you have to have something like OBS, like, sorry, I don't know why I'm saying all this. I think you can do it through Google Chat. All right, so I'm gonna try to do this. All right, you guys, catch me on the other side. Yup, not sure if people can guess, but co-host, yes. Okay, isn't that the same thing? I don't know. Okay, well. Oh, I see what you're saying, because on Google Hangouts you have to, like, invite them and stuff. Yeah, okay. I like your Illuminati eye. It's funny because it makes me think of Illuminati, and Illuminati makes me laugh because it's kind of crazy. All right, I will see y'all